How's it going, heathens? And today we are going over some bench press technique, and more specifically the setup for a bench press, because fundamentally if you get set up wrong for an exercise, it's going to be really difficult for you to perform the exercise correctly and efficiently. I'm going to talk you through how you should properly set up for your bench press and a few little technical pointers so you can maximise your strength. Why should you listen to me? Well, I'll be honest, bench press is probably my worst lift in the gym. I have done 145 kilos as my personal best, and I've done that around 93, 94-ish kilos body weight, if I remember rightly. So it's not bad, but not great compared to what I can do on my other lifts. However, I do regularly coach clients to hitting some big numbers, well over 100 kilos, and even some of them that outbench me. So I think I've got decent enough credentials that I can help you out in your quest to be the biggest bencher in your gym. And don't forget to become the overall just most strong and handsome person in your gym, to like and subscribe, because you're going to get top quality content from me on a weekly basis. And if you want top quality content from me on a daily basis, you've got my Instagram link down below, and it's a new page, so that's why there's not many followers. We are fighting back against the algorithm gods and Mark Zuckerberg, so make sure to give me a wee follow on there too. Now we're going to break this down and dumb it down from the very start, including actually taking the bar out. Now I bench off the outside, off a rack, and if you're on a fixed bench, great, this doesn't really apply to you. If you bench in a similar setup to me, just take your time and make sure that your bench is in the middle, and that shouldn't take too much time, thought or effort. Now obviously getting the best set of bench press possible starts with taking the bar out and preparing yourself the best way possible. And there's two wee mistakes that are commonly made, and that's when people either try and take the bar out being too close or too far away. Now for the bar being too close, what people will often do is they will start with their head all the way back here, and they'll try to get as much of their body under the bench as they can, just so they can get as much purchase as possible and just have your full body weight underneath and lift the bar out like this. And yes, this will make it easier to lift the bar out. However, what you're now going to have to contend with is when you actually do start to bench, you're going to end up hitting the hooks like this. Obviously we don't want to do that, because that's going to stop you lifting the weight, and even if you don't actually hit them and you're just coming close to it, it just gives you something extra to think about, and you might just clip one side, and it just makes your set a lot more awkward. On the other hand, what people do is they'll come all the way down like this, so that they're really trying to make sure they're clearing the hooks, which is obviously a good idea. However, when you start to get on a heavy weight, it's really hard to get enough purchase to actually lift the bar out from here, and obviously your shoulders being back like this is like a really weak position. It's going to be quite difficult for you to come and lift it up like so and bring forward. So a really good rule of thumb to get the proper lying position on the bench for your bench press is to have your eyes underneath the bar, and this should pretty much always allow you to get enough purchase under the bar to lift it up and out, and then do your bench press set whilst being in plenty of room to clear the hooks. Obviously if you've got a spot, that makes your life easier, but assuming that you're not always going to have a spot in the gym and you're going to have to do it yourself, having your eyes under the bar is the best gauge you can have. Now getting your hands in the right position, and this is something that a lot of people balls up, and you shouldn't really, because it's a free hit. There is literally nothing stopping you just taking a few seconds to get yourself sorted. I could understand if you were getting attacked by a wolf and had to try and get your hands in the right position, but there's literally nothing stopping you, so just take a wee second and put some thought into it. It's so basic and simple, and there isn't necessarily a right or wrong of where your hands need to be on the bar. They just need to be even. Pretty much every single bar you will ever use will have rings, and it will have the line off the knurling here, and you just use this to actually make sure that your hands are even. And it could be a thumb from the middle, it could be having your pinkies right on the line, it could be you want to come in a little bit from the line and actually just having a look and making sure that, you know, you are actually even. And you're a lot better doing that than just like grabbing the bar like this and then just picking it up and just being all ski with. Literally all it takes is eyes and effort. And I feel like you should probably have both of those. And apologies if you've not. Now, next thing we're going to look at is body position. Now, you do get the absolute freaks that can lie flat on the bench like this and just be able to just come and push mammoth amounts of weight. Those are the exception to the rule, and for most people that's not how you're going to be able to lift the most weight, or actually be able to engage your chest the most, and you'll be using a lot of your front delts. When we're benching, we want to actually have a small arch in our back, like so, and we want to raise our chest up, and what that's going to do is it's just going to put it in an overall stronger position, and it does actually just
cut off the range of motion a little bit, which should hopefully allow you to lift a little bit more weight. Also as well, it's probably just going to help you actually engage your chest more and not use quite as much of your front delts. And it also starts to bring hip drive into it, which I'm going to come back to. So we want to think about having our bum on the pad, our shoulders and upper traps and head on the pad, but our lower back comes off. And that way when I'm benching here, I've got a nice proud chest here, got that little arch, and I'm still got a steady enough base. I'm here and I'm up with a nice big crack. And if you bench with an arch, what I should probably cut out by proxy as well is this, which is the head tuck. What people do when they bench, they bring the bar down and they look at themselves like this. And that's just putting you in a much weaker position, and it's actually pretty hard for you to maintain your arch when you're poking your head forward like this. When we bench, think about keeping your head against the pad and almost like pushing into it, getting as much purchase as you can and driving back so that you can push your arms forward. You're not like a chicken going around and pecking at the ground for its food.
It's a bit of a weird analogy.
Keep your head flat. It's going to put you in a much better position.
Now, to help with our arch and fully bring in our hip drive, we're going to start to look at our feet position. When we bench press, we don't want our feet to be out in front of us. If our feet are in front of us and we push into them, what that means is we're going to be pushing back the weight. And the last time I checked, we're not trying to push the bar back like this, we're trying to push it up like this. So our feet want to be driving in that position. So what we want to do is we want to bring our feet back as much as we can to be under our hips. So that way, it's going to help us get on our bum and create that arch, and we're getting fully drive from our hips, we're anchoring ourselves solid, and we're able to just drive all our force into the ground so we can push the bar up with our arm. Now, you will see some coaches say that you should bring your feet as far back as they can go while being flat, and that does make sense because the more surface area you've got on the ground, the more stable you'll be, and theoretically the more force you can produce. However, I don't necessarily subscribe to that, and what I personally like to do is I like to bring my feet a little bit further back but come up onto my toes. I think a lot of people will struggle to get their feet right underneath them and keep flat-footed, so I think having that trade-off of letting your heels come up but toes on the ground is probably beneficial, and I feel like that works for a lot of people. And just to tie this all together, I want to think about pulling my shoulder blades back and down and almost like pinching them together and retracting my scapula. And that just helps keep my chest nice and pronounced and just in that nice strong position that I want to push from. And there we have got a basic but perfect bench press setup. And just to show you how I would take the bar out, my eyes under the bar, I would use the rings and take my time to get my hands set up where I want, bring my feet back underneath my hips, retract my scapula, bring my elbows just a little bit forward just to help get a little bit purchase, lift the bar up, pull it forward, and that's me good to go. Now, one final little detail to help solve the problem of when you're lifting your heavy weights and it becomes harder and harder to lift the bar out on your own. I'm just going to show you what I like to do because it can be quite hard just taking it out like this and then just like pushing up, especially when I'm not warm. So I do the exact same, but what I like to do is I like to almost come up a little bit and then drive back into the bench like so, and making sure that when I do hit the bench with my shoulders, I'm pinching my traps at the same time and I'm not just like going to a flat back. Because if I go like this, again, I've now just lost that tension and I'm now going to have to try and pump myself up onto my bum, which I can't really do. So I'm here, I'm set up like I'm going to pump up, push into the bench on my traps and my shoulders, and I'm here and I'm ready to go. And hopefully you found this useful and you can take this into your own sessions, and hopefully this video didn't come out too disjointed because, as always, with this stupid shitty little camera with the tracking thing, it actually makes life 10 times harder. What a waste of £500. If you like my videos and you'd like to help me invest in actually getting staff to help me film them, then the best thing you can do is fill out my coaching inquiry form below, because not only will you help me improve my production value, but you're going to get the best coaching out there to make you as strong and handsome as you possibly can be. But online coaching couldn't be any more hands-on, and I am just going to guide you through step by step, week by week, every single thing that you need to do to just become the absolute monster that you want to be. So fill that form out, takes you 2 seconds, and after that I'll drop you a message and then we can just look at having a little chat about what you need help with and how I can help you. I'll leave the blips on the screen for you to watch some of my other videos that took a lot less effort to produce than this, because I'm just there sitting talking about something more likely. That's all from me, catch you soon.